I'm Joe Edney.
And I'm Laurie Baker. We work with K-12 educators every day as part of RTI's Center for Education Services.
We've developed a white paper focused on enacting meaningful change in K-12 settings, and this 4-part video series will summarize the white paper and offer actionable tips.
We hope these resources help you as you navigate change in your own setting.
In the last video, we talked a little bit about what makes change different in education, and especially in K-12. And in this one, we're going to focus on how do you classify change, or really diagnose what you're trying to do in order to streamline efforts down the road. And so often this step gets skipped for the sake of urgency, when in fact it's one of the things that can really help make change successful.
After reviewing the research literature, we really coalesced around 3 different types of change. And those 3 types are change by origin, change by execution, and change by scale. Today in this video, we really want to focus on change by execution.
And while the names of those things kind of inherently imply what they're about, origin is about what initiates the change. So what's causing us to want to change? Scale talks more about the size. So am I doing a fine-tuning effort or a total transformation? But execution is really more about what drives the change while it's underway. And it boils down to 2 factors. One is structural and one is cultural. And so first, starting with structural, Laurie, talk about what that means.
Well, structural change is fairly easy to understand. It really has to do with process and systems and procedures, not so much the human factor. So an example of that in a school setting might be where you have a superintendent who wants to reconfigure the number of direct reports that his assistants are supervising. So they're doing exactly the same jobs that they were doing before, but they've just now got a more balanced, I would say, caseload of who they're supervising. That is pure structural change.
And taking something as pure structural seems doomed to fail in education, where there's so much human behavior involved. And so what about the cultural side of things?
That's true. And the cultural side is really where you have to focus on changing human behaviors, which is what we're in the business of doing in education. And so one timely example of that is the implementation of MTSS, which is something that many schools are working on right now. And that's an example that does require that balance, because not only are schools driven to think about new ways to analyze, archive, and process data about students, but they also have to think about differentiating supports for students in new and exciting ways. So that is where that balance between structural and cultural kind of comes into play.
And so by knowing the classification of the change we're trying to accomplish, it gives us an avenue to know, okay, how do I best match the types of change strategy with the type of change I'm trying to do? And so as we think about where we're going next, we're going to talk in the following video about those change strategies and what they look like. And we'll look at ways that those can be matched up with structural or cultural change so that we're, again, streamlining the effort and not duplicating activity.